Honorable Kubayi.
Madam Deputy Speaker, Honorable Deputy President, the Speaker, honorable members of this august House, guests in the gallery, Ninhlikale. Today marks 49 years since the conviction of the Rivonia trialist on the 11th of June 1964, and again the 25th anniversary of the Free Mandela concert held on the 11th of June 1988 in London. These days are significant as the international society was united in praying and supporting for President Madiba and other prisoners at that time. Today again, the international community is united in praying and supporting for Tata Madiba while he's in hospital. Kubalulekile ukuba ndinqwelelene isithwalandwe se-African National Congress uTata Madiba ukuba aphole asiphilele. Sithi kusapho lonke mabaqine emthandazweni nakwithemba likamdali wethu kuba nguye owaziyo ngempilo zethu. It is important to know that this debate takes place on the eve of the commemoration again of the June 16, 1976, and this year's celebration takes place under the theme Working Together for Youth Development and Drug-Free Society. Young people are challenged under this theme to create a society that they aspire to live in, a society free of drugs, free of crime, free of rape and gender-based violence, with aspirations of economic emancipation. A South Africa alive with possibilities where young people are masters of their own destinies. I would like to quote Mama Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma addressing a youth forum on the 24th of May 2013 in Addis Ababa as she urged youth to participate actively in political life. I quote, "The African Union must be driven not by its government but by its citizens. You must participate in the political life of your country. This is where the policies are made. Get engaged, get involved and change what you want to change within your countries and make sure that the policies are implemented at the levels of member states," unquote. We need to see more active young people in politics, research, technology, science, judiciary, etc. Young people must occupy the space and not be armchair critics. Honorable Deputy Speaker, honorable members, let's look back at see the achievements of this Parliament since 2009 under the leadership of the African National Congress in cooperation with all other parties. We welcome the establishment of the Budget Office and the appointment of Prof. Jahed as the Director in the Budget Office. As well, we welcome the appointment of senior management team, including the Deputy Secretary to Parliament, Ms. Chawe. We wish them all the best in their work. Indeed, we are looking forward for a more robust oversight on budget process to realize the spirit and intentions of the Money Bills Act, working closely with both houses, in particular the Standing Committees of Finance and Appropriation. We further urge the completion of the process by the Standing Committee of Finance relating to the Financial Management of Parliament Act, which still needs to be fully implemented. We welcome the establishment of the Joint Chief Whips Forum, as this will improve coordination of the work between the two houses at the WIPARI level. Lessons learned from the coordination done by the Chief Whips Forum in dealing with matters to ensure that we have smooth running plenaries will come very handy for the new forum. Further to this, it is critical to note the importance and responsibilities that the office of the Chief Whip of the majority party within this institution carries. We urge that a more suitable funding model for this office be looked at to ensure that this office is able to carry its mandate and obligation adequately. Sectoral parliaments remain one of the cornerstones of our interaction with our communities. While noting the challenges in recent times with regards to this important parliament program, it cannot be justifiable to declare them less important or unnecessary. We have seen the voices of women being raised and heard through this platform of Women's Parliament. Further, the gathering of young people to deal with issues that are faced through youth parliament cannot be regarded as less important. The logistical challenges need to be addressed to ensure that future activities are not impacted upon. It is also important that the steering committees, which are multi-party forum, ensure that sectoral reports are developed and adopted by Parliament within a reasonable time after the activities. Transparency and accountability remains key elements of democracy and governance. All members of Parliament need to know that funds used by Parliament are accounted for and have been used appropriately, and we understand the call to understand the expenditure of sectoral parliaments by the Chief Whip Forum. We have seen more impact with tangible outcomes on the programs carried out, for example, by the NCOP, taking Parliament to the people, and many communities have seen improved provision and access to services. Maloko a go tlhomphega go nyakega gore re ikemišetše re le maloko ka moka go kaonafatša maphelo a batho ka moka. Re le mokgatlo wa African National Congress re re ga re berekišana mmogo re ka kgona go fetola maphelo a setšhaba ka moka. Re kgopela setšhaba sa borena mo re sa tlhwa gore fihla gona ba se fele pelo ba kwešiše gore le mo le gona re tlo fihla ba nne ba eme. Parliament since 1994 under the African National Congress has passed 1,294 bills with 200,000 individual clauses. Of this vast amount of legislation passed, and only 17 acts were challenged in courts of law. Of these challenges, in total, only 2% of the clauses of these 17 acts were found unconstitutional. Deputy Minister Andries Nel highlighted this in the Justice Budget vote debate recently. This, I must say, it's quite an achievement, and there is no need for members not to have confidence in their work. It demonstrates what the Constitution requires from public representatives, that they should apply their minds in the legislative drafting process. It reflects that we are, when passing legislation, remaining vigilant and ensuring due process and quality of content of the bills passed by Parliament. Madam Deputy Speaker, honorable members, the role of civil society is very important, and it is critical in maintaining our democracy. We need to see more and more active citizens driving the affairs of their parliament, because the establishment of this institution is based on the will of the people. The public participation model currently championed by Honorable House Chairperson Frolik is critical and should be adopted before the end of the fourth Parliament. We echo the sentiments that the Speaker has raised earlier on the podium. This model will enhance coordination and cooperation of our work as Parliament and provincial legislature. I must say, though, that many South Africans are deeply concerned by the interference of external forces, foreign government and foreign institutions in the policy direction of the country at the expense of its people. Let me quote one of the sons of the African soil addressing the foreign envoys accredited to Tanzania on the 8th of June 1978. President Julius Nyerere said, and I quote, "I have been very concerned indeed about world reaction to the recent events in Africa, and it seems to me to be necessary that I should make Tanzania's position clear. For the events of the past weeks have once again demonstrated that although our legal independence is officially recognized, our needs, our right to develop our countries and our continent in our own interest has not yet been considered in practice. The habit of regarding Africa as an appendage of Western Europe has not yet been broken," unquote. Unfortunately, honorable members, this sad situation in relation to Africa and her people still applies, and we see it here at home. Foreign monies are used to decide on the policy of South Africa without regarding her people what they want. The work that we do as MPs is meaningless if our interaction with constituencies is not there. Since the beginning of this Parliament session, the African National Congress took a decision to have parliamentary constituency offices as one-stop centers, with MPs, MPLs, and councillors being in the one office to deal with challenges of our community. This is to ensure that public representatives engage with communities and ensure that they are informed of work of government and Parliament Parliament and that the issues raised by community members are taken up by government departments and Parliament respectively. President Mandela in October 1988 said, and I quote, "In order to achieve these goals, we also needed to transform government from a system serving minority interests to one that meets the needs of all South Africans, and all these things had to be done in a country where most people were denied experience of government or proper education and training. This is why we have placed heavy emphasis on building capacity in government. When we say that the best solution to these challenges can only be found when we work with each other, it requires a commitment of each and every one of us. Today we should all ask ourselves, what have I done to improve the surroundings in which I live? Do I expect everything to be delivered to me, or do I work with my local councillor to create a better life for me, for myself and my community?" Unquote. This call was reiterated by the African National Congress in its manifesto and its theme, "Working together we can do more to build better communities." Honorable members, we have seen an improved and well-coordinated parliamentary program, and this was done with all political parties and the presiding officers. We have seen an increase in debates on matters in the public domain or public importance. However, these debates must be for accountability and robust oversight on behalf of millions of South Africans who voted for us into office. And this extends to the work done by committees of parliament as they carry out their mandate in oversight and scrutiny. I need to emphasize that during this period, we have seen matters that could be resolved by this House sent to the courts by members of this august House. I need to emphasize it is within their rights to do so. However, the question I still ask is, where does all this leave the institution Parliament? Where is the separation of powers enshrined in our Constitution? Are we not supposed, for example, when we think the rules are not adequate, to review them and make sure they respond to the issues at hand? I would like to elaborate more on the issue I'm about to speak to. And I know the limitation I face in relation to Rule 67, and I will not go into compromising this rule. However, I must emphasize that at times, our political games have found the courts in a compromising position. An example of this is when the DA wanted a motion of no confidence against the president, and we had the humiliation situation of a judge having said that the courts can't tell Parliament when to hold a particular debate. We should never forget that this humiliation for Parliament could have been avoided if only we had followed the ANC when from the start it supported the debate, but when then had to endure the spectacle of the DA no longer being interested and the debate proposed passed. All parties have a space to ensure that they contribute. All parties have space to ensure that they contribute to the smooth running of Parliament and proceeding. As the African National Congress, we are committed in ensuring that our members adhere to the decorum of the House and ensure that integrity and dignity of the House is not compromised. We have gone as far as talking about a proper dress code so that all of us look honorable, and we hope all parties will follow suit. And we've witnessed some people coming with leggings here, so which is not really suitable. It is because we understand that this institution is the legacy left to us by people such as Tata Madiba, Mama Chinwala, Mama Mbete, and all the people who played a part in establishing this parliament after 1994. As I conclude, Madam Deputy Speaker and honorable members, we need to know that many of the flagged achievements and work done by the African National Congress since 1994 remain unknown and unsaid, and to best describe why the situation perpetuates, Antonio Gramsci defines the theory of hegemony, which is basically the domination of a particular grouping in society which plays a huge role in defining what is right and what is wrong in society. We have a grouping in society who thinks they have monopoly to know what is right and what is wrong for the people of South Africa. And the media has been one such grouping, while acknowledging the importance of the role of media in democracy. But the notion that to be a fierce journalist, you must speak against the government and the ruling party and collude with the opposition parties can't be correct. It therefore places the responsibility on Parliament to derive mechanisms to directly communicate with communities through accessible parliamentary TV channels, radio stations, so that we can speak to our people. Madam Deputy Speaker, as I sit down, I want to quote a biblical scripture, Matthew 11, verse 15. Listen then if you have ears. O nang le tsebe gakwe, o nendlebe makezwe. I have done some interesting observation, Deputy Speaker, that while I looked at Honorable Mazibuko's profile and her declaration, noted that Honorable Watson donated to her campaign becoming the leader of the party, and later he was appointed the chief whip of the party. I thank you.